Okay, so you know how like everyone's always talking about stress
Oh, yeah.
and how we all need to manage it better?
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
today
Yeah.
we're going to really take a deep dive into some practical ways to actually do that.
I love it.
You sent over some really interesting stuff on mindfulness
Yeah.
and meditation and how these practices
Yeah.
can help literally rewire our brains to better handle stress.
It's amazing how much research there is
Oh, yeah.
now really backing up like these ancient practices with some serious science, you know? And it all points to how these things can have a real impact
Yeah.
on both our mental and our physical well-being.
You know, I've always been kind of curious about mindfulness, but I'll be honest, I always had sort of a woo-woo bias against it.
I get that.
You know,
Yeah.
like, is it really more than just sitting in a lotus pose and chanting?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. Mindfulness is so much more than that.
Oh,
At its
fun.
core, it's really about being present right here, right now, in this moment,
Okay.
without judgment, you know?
Yeah.
It's almost like you're hitting the pause button on your inner critic and just observing your thoughts and feelings without
Yeah.
getting all swept away by them.
Okay, so let's say I'm freaking out about like a work deadline. So instead of going down that like stress spiral,
Yeah,
I just notice that feeling of stress.
exactly. You just acknowledge it, you know?
Okay.
Like, oh, hey, there's that deadline stress again.
Okay.
And this awareness, this noticing, it creates a space between you and the feeling, so it allows you to choose how you respond. And here's where the science comes in. This is really cool.
Okay.
Studies are actually showing that mindfulness can lower cortisol,
Ah, interesting.
which is that, you know, nasty stress hormone.
Yeah.
And it can even improve something called heart rate variability,
Okay.
which is a key indicator of how resilient your body is to stress.
I mean, that's amazing. So like I said, I always kind of thought it was a little woo-woo,
Yeah,
but the science is really, it's pretty convincing.
it is.
So how do we actually like do this?
Yeah.
Cultivate this mindfulness, you know?
Yeah.
The material you sent over mentioned all these different meditation techniques.
Exactly. Yeah. Meditation is like a gym for your mind, you know?
Okay.
It helps train your mind to be more present.
Okay.
And there's so many different techniques out there that you can try.
Okay.
You know, you've got guided meditation where you just follow along with the narrator. That's really good for beginners. You've got breathing exercises, which are
Yes.
super powerful for calming your nervous system.
Right.
And then there's things like the body scan, where you basically bring your attention to different parts of your body.
Okay, so how do these things actually work, like to manage the stress?
Well, they're tapping into your body's natural relaxation response.
Oh.
So for example, focusing on your breath, it actually slows down your heart rate,
Okay.
which then tells your nervous system, hey, it's time to chill out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then there's that whole thing about neuroplasticity.
Right. Yeah.
So like with each of these techniques, we're actually rewiring our brains to respond to stress differently.
Exactly. The brain is so amazing, it can actually change and adapt.
Yeah.
And so by practicing these techniques,
Yeah.
you're basically training your brain
Yeah.
to respond more calmly.
Okay, so wait, hold on. So with every mindful breath I take,
Yeah.
I am literally reshaping my brain.
You got it.
Okay, so I can get behind that. That's pretty empowering.
It is. And you know, the benefits go way beyond just managing stress.
Yeah, what else is there?
The research you sent mentions things like better sleep,
Oh, yeah.
improved focus, even better emotional regulation.
Oh, that's huge.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, I can see how it all connects. Like,
Yeah.
if you're less reactive to stress, that creates like a ripple effect
It does.
of positive changes in your life.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
It is.
So, like, imagine being able to stay calm
Yes.
and focused
Yeah.
during a stressful presentation at work.
Right.
That's the power of emotional regulation
Yeah.
that comes from these practices.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, this has been so insightful. So to recap, mindfulness is about being present,
Yes.
and meditation gives us the tools to do that.
Yeah.
And all of this can lead to incredible benefits,
Mhm.
not just for stress, but for all areas of life.
It can. And the best part is there's tons of free resources available online.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, you can literally start with just a few minutes each day
Wow.
and try different techniques until you find what works for you.
That is such a good point. I love that.
Okay.
So there's a question to think about.
Okay.
What if, by learning to manage our own stress,
Yeah.
we actually contribute
Yeah.
to like a calmer, more mindful world?
I love that thought.
Something to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
My pleasure.